What's up, everyone? It's your man's Jam here. I am usually not in the host table, but today, welcome to level 7, and we are going to be vibing with the agents of fandom. I have my two lovely friends, which are also, I guess, my co-host here today. Ryan Cortero, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, buddy. I'm so happy we are finally here to talk about this show. I'm so excited.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Paradise Breakdown. You are literally the first person that I seen talking about this show online. And then TJ was like, "Oh, he's like the biggest like hype fan for the Agents of fandom when it comes to Paradise." So joining us is our guy TJ. How you doing, bro?
The pipeline to people watching Paradise all begins with Ryan. Like before this show even came out, before he wrote the review, he was like, "Hey, I really like This Is Us." I remember him talking to the group chat. He was like, "I like This Is Us. I really like Sterling K. Brown. I'm going to review this show called Paradise that's going to be coming out. I think it might be cool." And then he watches it, writes the review, and I just remember saying, he was like tweeting at everybody, like, "You guys got to watch this show. It's incredible." And then the next couple weeks was just like, every day was a new person tagging Ryan on my feed, just being like, "Whoa, I watched this show because of you, man. It's incredible." And after season 1, I figured we had to have a podcast for season 2 because, one, it's fun to podcast about a mystery show. Anything where you don't know what's going on, you get theories, you're unveiling a little bit more each week. It's exciting. And so to be able to do that, plus to have a show where it's genuinely really good and we got a lot of friends who want to talk about it, that's the best. So can't wait to dive in. Can't wait to not be in the host chair. I always feel like I'm so much smarter and have so much more to say when I'm not thinking about all the other stuff. So really, really excited to dive into this with you guys, and thankful that you're taking the reins, Jam.
Man, I said this to him off pod, guys, but literally I was like, he texted us, "Jam, you ready to host?" I said, "Yeah." I looked at the camera like I was Jim at the office. I'm like, "Sure." I am so excited, but he puts again all the pressure on me to host now, and I'm more nervous because when I'm a guest, it's easier. But make sure you go ahead because of that and like us, subscribe this video over at YouTube. And wherever you get your pods, make sure you guys got to tap in there as well. But on our socials, we are pretty much Agents of Fandom everywhere except TikTok and Twitter. We are Agents Fandom there. So make sure you check in with us. And let's talk. Let's go ahead and throw it right back to TJ really quickly because we got a bunch of shows coming up. And I am not that informed on what is actually coming up as well as he is. So I know he's going to let us know.
This is probably the most excited I've ever been to talk about our upcoming content because it has been a really, really big day for getting some things confirmed. And later this week, I don't know if it's going to be live or if it's going to be pre-recorded yet. So there's a chance it's going to drop next week. But this is why you got to stay tapped into the Agents of Fandom socials because this is where it'll be announced. But we're going to be talking to Avatar Korra herself, Janet Varney, this week, and I am so excited. I've been a fan of hers for so long, have listened to every episode of the Breathing of the Elements podcast that she hosts, and I can't wait to talk to my favorite Avatar Korra. And then literally just I forgot we were doing this show tonight because my mind was just blown. I got so excited. Maybe like one of our biggest, maybe not the number one, but one of our biggest interviews ever is going to be coming next week, as well as I talk to a certain man without fear. And we're going to be chatting with Harold Cox, Daredevil, as well as Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio, as well as some EPs and showrunners, Sana Amanat, Dario Scardapan. So like we got some really, really exciting interviews coming. Plus, we're going to be having podcasts breaking these shows down as well. So we're going to have the Paradise pod every Tuesday. As soon as Invincible season 4 starts, we're going to have our Beyond Invincible pod. As soon as Daredevil Born Again starts, we're going to be breaking that down every week. We got Project Hail Mary coming up for movies. Lots of really, really exciting stuff. So yeah, like you said, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, wherever you get your pods. Follow us on socials because we got some fun stuff coming.
Yeah, man. Speaking of fun stuff coming though, I want to ask you what has been going on for you guys. What are you watching? Our biggest segment. This is honestly the segment I actually look forward to the most. Every time we pod about something, even if it's a show that I love that we're podding on, like Paradise, because that means I get to kind of dive into a bunch more of like things that we love that I haven't maybe seen or didn't know about until you guys might have mentioned it. So, TJ, I'll throw it right back to you. What you been watching?
So last time we had talked, I wanted to just like I completely forgot that we had talked about doing a Night of the Seven Kingdoms podcast this week, and I just don't think we're going to be able to make it happen with all the other stuff going on. But we got I finished that because I had screeners for it, and so I watched all of that, and then I decided, you know what? I got really sick. I got really sick last week, and so I decided to, or 2 weeks ago, and so I decided maybe I'll start Game of Thrones. I've never seen it before. It's like just I've kind of heard some spoilers, forgot about some, figured it was too much of a big thing to bite off and like invest time into, knowing how many people didn't like the ending. And so I just figured I'm just not going to do it until I finally found the time. I was really sick. I had the itch from A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and I decided to dive in. So last week, the last time we talked on the podcast, I believe I was on season 2. I am now on season 8. I'm now on season 8. I just watched The Long Night today. That was the last episode I did. So I'm getting near to the big, epic, terrible finale that everybody talks about. I'm told as I'm diving in, like keeping some friends updated with where I am, I'm told like the last 3 episodes are really where it gets bad. And so I'm bracing myself. I've talked to many people who have binged it after it came out, and they have said that they weren't as low on the finale as a lot of people who are watching the show as it was coming out, because they didn't have as much time. Yeah, you were one of them, Jam. Sean was another. Just because they didn't have enough time to be disappointed, basically. Like they didn't have the 3-year wait, amping it up in their brains so much, and so it wasn't as much of a letdown. I'm kind of hoping that's the case for me as well. I adored season 7. Like I heard a lot of people who were a bit lower on season 7 as well, but honestly, for me, that was one of my favorite seasons of the whole series. And so, yeah, I'm think season 8, episode 4 now. I've been absolutely grinding. I haven't been watching anything else. I've been playing a little bit of a Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game on my Switch, just because I wanted something kind of like mindless I could do while I was watching this stuff or while I read. And I've also been listening to some Project Hail Mary, prepping for that. I got about 7 hours of the book left. And so Project Hail Mary when I'm not in front of a TV, Game of Thrones when I am in front of a TV. And that's basically been the extent of my last 2 weeks.
Jeez, you make me feel like I'm less of a robot now when Dennis calls me a robot. Shout out to our guy Dennis here in the chat. To piggyback off of that, I always need something mindless, like always. So I've been doing nothing but rewatching Dragon Ball with the lady. She's never seen it, so I'm kind of just like in the background reading comics or on my phone or playing on my Switch, which I'm usually playing Pokemon Legends Z through A now, trying to get through that. And that's what it's been like. Literally, the only thing I've been watching. I've seen some movies. It's Black History Month, so I have to watch some of my favorite Black movies, like The Harder They Fall, They Clone Tyrone. We're gonna get to Black Panthers, Get Out. We're gonna rewatch Sinners. Like we got to watch the best, at least the best of the newer generation, because I got classics that I want to watch as well. But other than that, that's really it. Dragon Ball and a lot of sin movies, a lot of cinefile movies. Ryan, close us out. What you've been watching, reading, playing, whatever.
Oh man, that's such a great list. My wife, we watched Daredevil Born Again because she's catching up on all these things before Doomsday, whether he appears there or not. But when we watched Daredevil Born Again, she had never seen anything Defenders first at all. So when she watched that, she was like, "I love Punisher, I love Daredevil. Let's go back." And so we're going through that journey. We watched Daredevil season 1, Jessica Jones season 1. Still holds up really, really well. We're on Daredevil season 2 right now. And she got to meet Frank Castle, who she loved. So we're on a good journey with that. I'm very excited as we're getting closer to Daredevil Born Again. to kind of see that. What else? I have been watching The Pitt, which I only started watching after all the Emmy wins and all the award wins this past season. So I'm like, okay, I got to see what the show's all about. And I get it. It is so good. I understand the hype now. I've been playing
I
Donkey
want to
Kong
do it so
Bonanza.
bad. I want to tap into the pit so bad, but I'm not. I don't know why. I can see heads being chopped off, the bloodiest gore imaginable in Game of Thrones, Fallout, all of these different things that I've been watching. But medical blood and like I don't know if gore is still the right word, but like medical operation stuff, I can't do it. I can't do medical shows in that way. I never watched anything medical because of that, but I've never heard a single like anything less than 10 out of 10 review from the pit about the pit. And so it's like I know I'm gonna get there, but it takes a lot of mental preparation for me.
I'm with you though. I'm
Oh,
exactly with you.
yeah.
I traveled last year and I'm in the medical field. Like I was in hospitals in these rooms and things are happening and I'm just not prepared mentally for that. I gotta like put my walls up to make sure I'm going in with, or like maybe those guards like they put on the horses in the horse
Yeah.
race, because I know I'm just here for the plot. It's good movie. It's good television. It's good television.
That's
Brian,
when
what
I
else
bring
you
the
got?
Nintendo Switch in front of my eyes and start the Yu-Gi-Oh. Start playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, honestly, I feel the same way when I watch it. I'm like, oh, there's that thing happening, and they're just showing it, and they're not cutting, and I'm like, okay, there's that HBO gruesomeness and everything like that. But I mean, it is the premise of it. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, it's like you're following like a 12-hour plus shift, so in each episode's an hour, and you get to see like. I mean, we love the essential workers and everything they do. So getting to see all that, and there's just no time for breaks. There's always something new, and I just love that kind of storytelling. So, but the last thing I want to talk about is Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm playing that right now for the first time. I am just spending
Insane.
so much. I'm just spending so much time just breaking the environment, and it is crazy that is the power of the Switch too. Like anything, almost everything is breakable in that game. So I'm taking my sweet time, just
Great.
going through that. I heard all the hype about it, so and I love Super Mario Galaxy or Super Mario Odyssey. So I'm just like, okay, these are kind of by the same people. So very excited to kind of dive into that and see what's in store with that kind of game.
Oh, I'm so happy for you. I loved that game. I went back and replayed it, and I bought the DLC, the first DLC. It's so good. It's so fun.
Nice.
Man, I'm just happy for you. But that breaks
Thank
down
you.
what you're watching, man. And so we're here to do our breakdown of Paradise. But before we do, I gotta ask you guys if you're watching live or if you're watching afterwards. Let us know in the comments, what are you watching, so we might check out some fun shows. Paradise. This is our episode 1 through 3 spoiler-free thoughts. We're gonna kind of go in each episode. So we'll start with the first one, and we get our first look intro to a brand new character, as well as
We'll hit our spoiler-free thoughts on what we've seen as a whole first before we get into the breakdown.
oh, I apologize.
You're good. You're good.
I read I read his breakdown wrong. Look, I'm over here reading it very fast. Well, okay, so spoiler-free thoughts. Apologize. Now that was a spoiler, but apologize. Spoiler-free thoughts. I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna tell you guys right now. First 3 episodes immediately, I was hooked. But as the episodes were going on, I'll be honest, I was a little iffy with the pacing. However, I knew why they did the way they did. As our guy TJ shows Ryan's article for the second season. Is it the whole season review? You got the whole season?
Just the first 7 episodes.
First
And
7
it's
episodes.
it's spoiler free, like very general thoughts on the
I
whole
see.
season.
There we go. You got it up on agentsoffandom.com. Make sure you go give that a look. And yeah, that was pretty much my only thoughts, is that I liked it. I was initially in, but the pacing threw me off a little bit, but I understand why they did it the way they did it. I would have liked if they swapped maybe episode 1 and 2. Just swap their places. Ryan, what do you think? You the one that wrote the review? I got to know first off, what did you think?
Yeah, no, it's a bold choice for them to have started the season the way they did. Like, I mean, thankfully, we're not waiting 3 years in between seasons for this, and this is how they open it. Because goddamn, like, who knows how people would have felt about that. But
I
I think
still hate 8 episode seasons of TV, but real TV is finally starting to come back. We are getting quicker turnarounds. Finally.
yes, I know. I'm so glad. But I think, Jam, to your point, like, I think with the pacing, I think that's why they did a 3 episode premiere off the bat, is because, like, the spoiler free, like, these are all very different tones of the episode, and like
Yeah.
we're following very different things. So to kind of lay this all out, it's like, this is what the season is. Like, and then from there, it's like, okay, now what's next? Now we laid the foundation of who we're following and everything like that. It's like, okay, here are the mysteries. Let's like put them together and stuff like that. So um going off that, like, yeah, I kind of do feel the same way, where I think episode 1 and 2 could have been switched, just because, like, it does feel a little jarring to be kind of thrown into this, and you're like, whoa, like, it's like if last season, where they had the day of the apocalypse, if like that hit so well, because and where it was like near the end of the season, because like
Mhm.
you didn't know like what really led them down here, you didn't understand the gravity of it, and then once you kind of establish like who these people are and they talk about it, it's like, yeah, this was, I mean, obviously a completely traumatic apocalyptic event, and it's like, whoa. So with episode 1 starting the way it is, it's like, okay, I think we need to establish some of these people first, because we're kind of building up to something with them. And that it's a bold choice. But you know what? I see, I see
I
why they
respect
did
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
TJ,
I
what do you
actually
got?
agree with the general thought, but in the opposite way.
Mm.
Like, I thought episode 1 and having that as the first episode with Shailene Woodley as the main character, I thought that was brilliant. Like, I thought that was brilliant. That was one of my favorite episodes of TV. Even having just binged all of Game of Thrones, that was one of my favorite episodes of TV I've seen this year. Like,
Oh,
I just thought it
wow.
was so incredible. But I still find the storytelling pacing that they do quite jarring, where it's like every, and it's like, it's not a spoiler to say that it's like this throughout the whole season. Every episode is about a different group of people, and you come back to the same groups of people, but I off the top of my head, I can't remember if there's actually 2 in a row that stick with the same group. I feel like it's kind of always going back and forth. I could be wrong on that though. Don't quote me on that. I could be totally off, but it's very much just like, all right, now we're here, now we're here, now we're here, now we're here. And as the story ramps up, that to me is when it gets extra jarring of like, oh, I don't want to go back here. I want to stay where we are. Like, things are getting intense. And so I kind of liked starting somewhere completely new, because then when we get back to our characters in episode 2, it didn't feel like it was a welcome change. It felt like to me, there's no movie I've ever seen this do better than Infinity War in an ensemble movie, where the second you start getting bored of where you are, it takes you somewhere you completely forgot was going to be coming, and it gets you so incredibly excited. And so to start off with a story that wasn't Xavier's, Sterling K. Brown isn't even in episode 1 until the very last second, that didn't feel like as jarring of a thing to me, because it had been a year since I had seen the last season. And so it felt like a cool, exciting new look at this show before I even start watching the season almost. And it just absolutely took me away. But I agree with you guys that like the switching up still was jarring for me. I just liked that they started it with the episode they did. But as a whole, I really, really loved the first 3 episodes. And we start getting a tease of it in episode 3, but this was something I put in my reaction on Twitter, my social reaction when it came out. This season leans a little bit more into some sci-fi tropes than season 1 did. Like, I thought season 1, like, I mean, how an apocalypse story can never be all that grounded, but it didn't seem like there was any, supernatural elements involved. And we start getting some teases of that in a big way in episode 3. And that's, I think, what kind of threw. I don't think it's bad, but that's certainly what surprised me the most, and has me the most cautiously intrigued through these first 3 episodes.
There's a lot to talk about, so let's break it down. I already spoiled this first point for us, but yes, we started. So we kind of talked about it now, but yeah, we get our intro and like a new look at the apocalypse from the outside point of view, right? Like actually from a person that survived it, and that is, as they said, Annie. So the thing with this episode, it was a bold choice that I feel like, to both of you guys' points, either you like absolutely loved it or you kind of get it, but it could have been switched, like how me and Ryan feel. I feel like both points are valid, right? I think regardless, I'm not going to sit here and say it's a bad episode. It's a good episode. It's a really good episode. And so through this episode, while I'm watching it, we get introduced to this crew that comes. And the reason I'm bringing this up first before your other point is because as I'm watching it, we get introduced to Link and his crew, right? And my lady, the whole time, she's like, I don't trust them, bruh. I don't trust them at all. So I wanted to ask you guys, before I go back and ask you this other question, I had to ask you this first. When you were watching this, was that like the first thought when you get introduced to Link? TJ, did you trust him, or were you like, nah, something is up here?
No, I thought something was up for sure. And the one thing that made me want to trust him is I think they kind of intentionally framed it like we've just seen so many apocalypse-y type shows where no one is friendly to each other. And now maybe this is just because we're coming off of Fallout and The Last of Us, where first reactions is always like, if we see somebody, be ready to shoot them because they might shoot you first. And so I feel like we've kind of been trained for that in this type of show, where I immediately was like, no, she's a woman. She's all alone. I am maybe it's because I'm watching too much Game of Thrones too, but I was like, I'm terrified for our girl Annie of like, these guys look scary. Like they all got huge beards, and that means they're scary because they're all they're dirty, they haven't shaved, and they're they're giving us the TV tropes of like, these guys are they look
suspect,
like,
man.
Again, I'm in my Game of Thrones head, but like I don't even remember the guy's name. But the guy from the Wildlings, he's redheaded and he's got the big beard and he's big and tall and strong. That's just like, that's what I'm kind of picturing, is like the group comes in and they're ready to tear shit up, but they're not that. They're kind. And so I feel like they kind of bring you in thinking they're going to be this big scary group of guys, but then they start being kind. But I'm still, and again, I think this is me watching too much Game of Thrones, but I'm still watching all of this stuff being like, I don't trust anybody new. Anybody new that is coming in from the outside world, I don't trust them.
In the words of Drake, no new friends. Ryan, how about you, man? Did you trust these guys? Did you trust Link and his crew, or were you a suspect like me and TJ?
No, 100% did not trust. Like, again, we've like The Last of Us, Walking Dead, you always, same idea as TJ. Like, you see a new group of people, you're like, why are they coming here? Like, they look sketchy. And, I think going off of TJ's point, I think the reason why we're kind of doing this, like, changing, like, subverting our expectations with like these new people, it's like, we need to establish that there, I mean, at the end of the world, there is like faith in humanity. There, like, as these people survive, like they all went through this traumatic event, and it's like, no, we're trying to save the world. Like we want to get back to what our world used to be, and I think we learned, like in the first season, that paradise was filled with people who are like you can't trust at all. So I think that's a cool juxtaposition of like, okay, the people on the outside are actually the most trustworthy or probably heartwarming people, and the people on the inside are the people that we should be scared of. And so, I mean, we'll talk about that as we get through the rest of these episodes, but like, I was like, damn, that's such a yeah.
This is the guy I was talking about, Tormund Giantsbane. You meet him and he's scary. He's terrifying. He's tearing shit up, and by the end, you love him. And that's kind of like what the vibe I got out of Link's whole crew.
Yeah, and speaking of that, like, I mean, look at their names. It's like Link, who's named off of the main character in Zelda. You have Urkel, just because he's the smart one, and it's like these people are just. It's even Link, the character says it. He's like, yeah, we may look scary, but we are just like a bunch of guys just trying to save the world. We're just having fun.
Guys being dudes.
Yeah, exactly.
Bunch of dudes being dudes. Yeah.
They give like a very big brother energy to Annie, and like they make her feel welcome and everything. And it's nice to see like that kind of, you know, that kind of thing in this kind of post-apocalyptic world. But I mean, that starts to change as we get through the rest of the episodes.
It is like a really, really nice parallel. Like, you're right, to what we've seen throughout season 1 and how everybody wasn't trustworthy. The reason I brought that up first is because that actually was my first thought, was because my lady was in my ear, like, I don't trust them. And then as I'm thinking, as the episode goes on, I'm like, getting to TJ's next question, what would I do in this situation? Like, where would I go? What would I how would I want to handle this? Right. And the only thing I came up with was like, honestly, I got family like down south. Like, I'm hoping somebody got a bunker somewhere. Like, but do I have enough time to get all the way there is the question. Like, do I know? It's just things like that in my head. I'll throw it right back to you, Ryan. Where would you want to be when all this goes down? Because we got Annie in Graceland. Do I really want to be somewhere like magical?
That's an inspired choice.
Yeah, like, I thought that was pretty interesting because it's like she's the tour guide to Elvis is like pretty much everything, like pretty much all of Elvis's assets. And that's where it goes down for her. So it made me think, like, do I really want to be like in my natural life, like, and I can go somewhere, or would I want to like be like her? And maybe I'm stuck at Disney World and I just got to make use of Disney's underground tunnels and stuff like that, where all the cosplayers are. Like, what do you got for me, Ryan?
Bro, I was literally thinking the same thing as I was watching the episode. I'm like, I was so shook that like no one out of the 2-3 years that they've been like living through this, no one chose to go to Graceland, this like big attraction. I'm like, and I was literally telling my wife too, I'm like, I wonder what Disney World would be like in this post-apocalyptic event. And it's like, I mean, that would be great, like to either even hold up in like Cinderella's castle, just like have a bird's eye view of everything going down. You're fortified there, but like, man, I don't know, like it, or even like I'm trying to think of like Avengers Campus or something. Like they still got some elevation there. There's still, you got the Guardians Tower tower there. It's like, I would love to hold up.
Would you want to go up high, or would you want to go like bunker like she did? That's what I was thinking. Like, yo, there are tunnels that they use to go from like the cosplayers in the suits used to go from park to park. That's genius. Just go underground. Then you got Disney World there.
No, that's true.
Both, right? Ideally, you have somewhere where you can be underground, you can be hidden, you can be safe from any storms and blasts, but also somewhere where you can get some high ground and look around if you need to.
Disney World, man. Ryan, we here.
Yeah, we're chilling, man.
TJ, what about you? Where would you want to be in all this?
I mean, I feel like the ideal spot would be like just locked in a Costco. You know what I mean? Like a big warehouse-like place where you can bar all the doors and just keep it shut. Like, I was thinking like a Walmart, but that's just very easily
accessible
and just very easy, I think, for people to break into. Costco's, they're built different, right? And I feel like a Costco you could really lock down and just be like, make it look on the outside like it's already been ravaged. And meanwhile, you're just sitting on the inside with food to last you a lifetime and TVs and chairs and games and things like that, where I feel like you'd really be able to hunker down and not just be safe, but be living the good life. But at the same time, like anywhere that stores food and supplies, you are risking it. Like, it's not like a Graceland or a Disney World where why the fuck would people go there? You're safe because you're not going to see that many people. You're going to anybody who walks by a Costco is going to check it out and try and rate it for supplies. You got to make sure you really have it locked down. So quality of life while you're there, I think, would be very good. Safety would certainly be a concern. I couldn't really think of anywhere else that's like a landmark or something like that where it's like, put me there. It's like, you know what would be cool? You know what would actually be best case scenario if we're like really thinking? I would love to be at like New York Comic Con after hours when it happened. You know what I mean? Like if I had a booth there and so I'm like putting all my stuff away, there's nobody else there anymore. I wouldn't want to be surrounded by people while all this shit's happening. But like somewhere I'm locked in after everyone else is gone. If the apocalypse starts happening, no one would have any need to go back there. But it'd be stocked up for food because of the convention. And it would also have halls and halls of things for me to do. You know what I mean? Like there's retro video games that wouldn't require internet. There's comics on comics on comics on comic. You would just have entertainment forever. So that's where I actually think it'd be like a Comic-Con or a fan expo after hours where I have a booth. You know, I'm not around the people, but the apocalypse starts going down and I'm there after dark and I can just hunker down.
And all of the people haven't cleared, like, got their stuff out yet.
Yeah.
Like none of the people.
All the booths set up with it. They just got like some tablecloths over top.
This man was thinking, y'all. He was using.
You got weapons. You got weapons there too, probably.
You got some
cosplayer weapons.
Swords for sure.
Yeah, you're set. You're set. So honestly, that's really smart, actually.
That's a really good one. I think I like his more than Disney World. Damn.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's Disney World. Like, oh man. Well, Annie was not at Disney World or at New York Comic Con. She was trapped at Graceland, and like we said, Link and his crew that we didn't trust, but we grew to love. I guess. It's too up in the air. We're not there yet. We don't know yet.
Like hopeful, but it's scary.
That's
one of the other reasons why I loved episode 1, just setting the tone where it's like, we're going to make you care about new characters, because before this, all we really cared about was Xavier and his family. That's it.
Yeah,
Every other character in that paradise, for the most part, expendable. Like, you're not going to care that much if anything happens to them. You're not rooting for anybody other than Xavier.
Yeah.
And I'm forgetting, what was his friend's name that was on
Billy.
No, sorry, not
Rest
even
in
Billy.
peace. Oh wait,
not even Billy. The other one who was working as part of the Secret Service but was in love with the president.
Oh, Robinson,
yeah.
The president?
No, like the president's
mistress.
That
Okay. Yeah.
I'll look that up next. Tormund was the first name I forgot. I'm going to find hers next. But I was rooting for her as well. I'm kind of constantly rooting for her as well. But outside of that, it's just Xavier and his family. So I thought it was really cool to be like, not only do we have Annie, but we have this other crew who, for the most part, we think we're going to want to root for, but we don't know yet. Yeah.
And you make a really good point, because I am rooting for Annie, even in the way that everything pans out, which we'll get to. But I do appreciate her character, and I think it made me, because it started off the way it did, and you have to like get through that. It makes me appreciate her character, and it was still a really good episode, like a really solid first episode. And we get our whole love scene, our whole romantic scene, which gives us pregnant Annie at the end of the episode. Which was kind of crazy to me. I was not expecting that. I mean, I guess you kind of have to in the apocalypse, right? Like, I mean,
pulling out in the apocalypse is crazy.
I know. You've seen A Quiet Place, like, goddamn, like, thank God there's no like, that's not the issue here. Like,
that's not
making sounds.
Like, obviously, at a certain point, you're gonna go like, "Hey, we gotta rebuild a community. We gotta repopulate. Let's get to work." But when you're leaving the next day, you gotta be extra careful.
Keep in mind, he did think she was gonna go with him.
That's true.
True. But you gotta have a condom and be pulling out at that point.
I mean, I don't know if Elvis had that at his property.
You know, it was just a spur of the moment. That's one thing I did want to highlight though. With and before we got to the romantic scene, we had a really good, I think, human moment where Annie just hadn't had any person in like almost 3 years. She had a big hug from Link, cried it out, then paused for a moment, then grabbed him again and cried some more. And I just thought that was really beautiful to see because, again, it was very human. We haven't had contact with anybody in a very long time. And then it led into, and then it was like, all right, my mind started going. I was like, is this coercion? Like, is this man literally meant, like, is this toxic masculinity and he's doing all of the right things to get the right stuff? Like, that should, excuse me, pardon my language, but it really bothered me for a moment. But
Language
it leads
I
to,
dropped an F-bomb already. We're talking about pulling out. I think you're good.
but it really made me it brought us to pregnant Annie and her seeing a crash. She puts out her binoculars, or excuse me, the telescope, and she sees a plane that went down. She goes to check out the plane, and boom, we get up the setup to episode 2 because there's Xavier on the ground. I thought that was pretty a wild, like again, a bold first episode that either it really works for you, which again I think we all can agree it was great. I think it was a great episode. I just don't know if I would have done it as the first episode, but it works. It does work. Now I want to get into episode 2. Xavier is off to find the family, his wife, Terry, and I think this is what everybody thought episode 1 was gonna be. The way it starts, you're thrown into exactly what the way, the finale happened with Xavier on the plane, flying off to go find Terry, his wife. I really, really liked the horror aspects of this. It felt like one of those movies where I don't wanna say Snakes on the Plane because that's just the first plane movie that came to my head, but those plane mo the best thing I could think of was like
Don't forget
Hijack.
Plane with Mike Coulter.
Oh, shout out Mike Coulter, man. Uh, our Luke Cage, hopefully soon reappearing. Um, I don't know why yet. Snakes of the Plane was the first movie that came to my mind, but you know that I'm thinking of Hijack as well. That plane movie where you're just feared, you're just fearful for the whole crew, whatever. But this time it was just Xavier, and visually, I thought that first part of the way they did it was great. Ryan, I want to ask you, what you think of the way this intro started?
No, I really enjoyed it because like I mean, based on episode 1's ending, we're like, okay, it's gonna crash and everything. But I liked how again it subverted our expectations. Like, no, he had a whole adventure before Annie walks up to him. Like, there's more to it than that. And I was like, yeah, no, this is traumatic. But I loved how the episode felt like it reminded me of The Last of Us, the part 2 in the game where like Ellie first meets the that one group of people in the woods, like the ones that whistle, and it's like, oh, whoa, 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 like who are these people?
There's the scars.
Yes, the scars. It's like you see that the torch in the back.
Scary. It's so scary.
No, literally.
And
When I saw the
butchered
torch,
a dude.
yeah. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I don't
And
know
you're
what
just playing
Xavier
that game,
landed
and then
in.
all of a sudden you hear like some kind of whistle in the distance, and you're like, "Oh no! Oh god!"
Yeah, no.
But no, Brian, you bring up a really good point because actually, that's the exact thought that I had when I seen the dudes walking with the torch. I was like, "Oh, what did he land into, bro?" Like that was I literally and I'm glad you mentioned The Last of Us because I was trying to remember where have I seen something like this before. That's a great call out.
Yeah. So like when that happened, I was like, oh boy, like this is where I'm like, I don't know if these people are gonna be really good at all. Like, last episode we got to see people who are good, but like this is nighttime, they have torches. Like, I'm like, I don't know about that. Then you see this kid pull up and you're like, okay, is this safe? Is like, and even then, like, I'm like, can we even trust kids in this world now? I don't know anymore. Like I just loved how we're starting to see these different factions of people in this world because like I mean that's how you kind of expand the universe a little bit here. It's like what were other people like? And I think that's why episode 1 kind of establishing like there are good That
Mhm.
made me worried for this one, where it's like, now if there are good people, there must be bad people too. So that's, yeah, it was a very tense moment for Xavier for sure.
I mean, just the kid, him trying to pop his leg in place, and the kid stopping him and putting his hand over his mouth. I was like, oh, I don't know. But again, it was for a positive reason. He was trying to save him. But I'm with you. I was like, can we trust these children, like at all?
I was watching that, and I have a friend who like dislocated his knee. So like, let me some backstory. Shout out to my friend Dan Ostertag. I haven't talked to him in a while. This just reminded me I got to reach out to my guy Dan. But in high school, I would remember watching him. We were in like 11th grade or something, in the maybe even 10th, but in the city final for basketball, and he gets a knee injury and it's on the ground, and the whole place goes silent because you could see like the knee twist, and so like the whole place is silent. There's probably like, I don't know, 1,000 2,000 people ish, and you just see him like slapping at his leg, and everyone's like kind of like, what's going on? And then he gives it one more slap, and his knee was like fully off to the side, and he slapped his kneecap back into place where it was supposed to be, and you just hear the whole crowd go, oh! And that's what I was thinking as soon as I saw that, because I was like, damn, I have a friend that happened to. You got to snap that thing back in place as quick as you can, because he apparently avoided like major damage because of how quick he got it into
Oh
place. It was still
wow.
very, very damaged. It was like a torn ACL, but a lot of other structural damage that was saved. And so, yeah, you got to get that thing. You got to get that thing back in place quick.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was, and that's what, like, we didn't. So speaking of that, he doesn't get his leg back into place for like like I think it's like a 2-3 days or something like that. We get the whole backstory of him and Terry, which in the hospital after he got injured with it was the same knee that he got injured with, that put him when in during Secret Service training, put him in the hospital, had to get surgery, and Terry's there for her own surgery. So he's recovering from surgery, and Terry is going in for surgery. And he's complaining about the flavor of jello to his nurse, and she throws over some jello, and it's his favorite flavor because she didn't want to hear him talk anymore. That wasn't the reason. Come on now. Everybody knows how girls flirt. They don't flirt with us. They don't do that stuff.
That was like the perfect example of, the meme where it's like somebody, like a guy creeping over a cubicle into a woman's cubicle, and it's like, hey girl, and it's like top half is flirting, and then the second half it's like an uglier guy doing it, and it's like, hey girl, and it's like, this is harassment.
Yes.
That was only working because it was Sterling K. Brown. His
Yes.
sly little smile, like, she turned him down a couple times, and he, like, to his credit, he wasn't being creepy, he wasn't being aggressive.
Right.
He was just like being annoying, frankly, like being annoying. But that wasn't working unless that was a man as handsome as Sterling K. Brown.
And I love that you bring that up because while I was watching it, another shout out to my lady. She when Terry, she basically tells Sterling that she can't get involved with him because he has a plan in her life and X, Y, and Z. But then she calls him a hot guy, and then he walks away and he's like, hot guy. And then my lady immediately, she was like, I knew that's all he was gonna get from that. And I was like, how'd you know? She was like,
That's what Ava said too. That's what my wife said too. She was like,
that's how you guys are. That's just how
that's all he's gonna hear.
And that's what I said. I was like, she was definitely flirting with him. And I thought just giving him the jelly. I'm like, I think that was beautiful. They set it up absolutely perfect. It was like the perfect little rom-com in a midst of a mystery drama-filled series. Like, it was like the perfect rom-com episode. Ryan, you heard me and TJ's thoughts. What did you think about that?
Oh no, I loved it. Like I think we really need to buy into like their love story, because you got to understand like how determined this man is to find his wife. Like, we got a little bit of her in the first season, but like now it's like, okay, why? And like you see that this man stayed in her hospital room, like even after he was healthy. And even that thing of like, at the beginning of this backstory, he's like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to get back into things. And then after talking to Terry, he's like, nurse, actually, I think my pain's an 8 or a 9. I think I gotta be here for a little bit. I was like, yes, you do, dog. Like you prove to this nurse that you got this. And it's so funny where Terry's talking about like whatever sciencey things. It's like, I'm gonna need something, and then he's like, I'm gonna need your number after. I'm like, damn, this man is so smooth. Like, again,
Borderline
like,
harassment,
Sure,
though.
we didn't get it.
Yeah.
But I thought for sure, like skipping ahead a little bit when she loses her vision after the surgery, I thought for sure that was going to be like the next step of them bonding is him being like, all right, what's this? And just like I thought they were going to study together and he was going to be her eyes, but we never got that.
Yeah.
I guess when you lose your eyes, you don't give a damn about anything else anymore, so that's fair.
But what I will say is I like to Ryan's point about him staying back after he got healthier or he could have left or whatever the case may be. She kind of plays that parallel a little bit back later because she could start to see shapes and things like that, but she didn't tell him, and he's over there fidgeting and fixing his stuff, and she's like, "Is this what you did like this whole time?" So I kind of like that parallel a little bit where they kind of played on each other. I think it's they're doing a lot of that this series, or I should say this season, and I like that because the same parallel we get with him and how he broke his leg back then to get it fixed and meet his wife, we get it back again here. He fell out the plane, broke his leg, and now he's with these kids that we don't really trust. But they bring him in because they're running from people, and they're hiding. They're all hiding, trying to basically survive together. They help him pop his leg with the sound of the lightning, which I thought that was like such a cool
That was
thing,
really cool.
Yeah.
right? And we get from there to him kind of like sneaking out, trying to get back to the plane wreckage and all the stuff that's there, and he gets caught by somebody. Basically, he has to kill the guy because the guy's been hunting those kids. My theory was that guy might have been one of the kids' dads. And then my lady was like, no, he said he was hunting the kids. I was like, no, yeah, that wasn't what was going down. That wasn't what was going down. And so we get basically to where because Xavier killed the guy, the kids bury the guy, which I thought was very interesting as well. Pay respects, I guess, to the dead.
But also don't want him to be found.
But also don't want him to be found. That's the first thing my lady said as well, right? They bring Xavier back in and patch him up because he was stabbed, like mortally stabbed, it seemed like. They help him. They leave him and take all of his stuff besides the picture of his kids.
Mm-hmm.
And he crawls back to the plane wreck and he passes out. And that's when we get the end of episode 1 is also the same as the end of episode 2. We converge. The Annie and Xavier link up.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, I know Xavier's hallucinating and everything, but this man just revealed there's a bunker to this random person who, like, I mean, yeah, she saved him, but like, I was like, God damn, man, like, are we just outright saying this thing? Like, I thought this was like something like we're trying to protect a little bit, like inner circle kind of stuff, but I was like, damn. I mean, it works out because like Annie overheard that conversation with Link and Geiger last episode of like, we're going to Colorado, there's a bunker and everything. It's like, and then yeah, she hops up. Like, I was like, damn, she's like maybe 6 to 8 months pregnant, and she's like, yeah, we're going to Colorado. I was like, okay, good for you, man. Like, they got damn.
I thought it was very interesting how they like decided to go in that route because, as you said, the whole first season was about keeping this protected. That was why Billy had to kill people outside from getting into the bunker for Sinatra. So I thought that was really interesting. TJ, what'd you think?
One thing I forgot to mention from episode 1, like I forgot to put it in the rundown and we kind of didn't bring it up, but I feel like we were at the point where we're fully bought into the whole Link and his squad of being good guys until the end of episode 1 where he's like, all right, we gotta go kill Alex.
Oh, that's right.
Like, Wait,
yeah.
who is out? Why are you killing Alex? Who is Alex, and why are you going to kill her? And it kind of makes you second guess whether they actually are good guys or not. And so that to me was like the most interesting part of this going forward is Xavier getting Annie back to them so they can link back up, but also when they link back up, are they going to be on the same side? Because that's like has been the thing that I throughout these first couple episodes that I've been most interested in, or is like, okay, Annie's got someone she wants to find, and Xavier has somebody he wants to find.
Right.
When they all get together, are they still have their goals been met and therefore they're done with each other and things get hostile? Or are they going to be on the same side of things? Because we don't really know where Xavier is going to stand with the people in the bunker outside of his kids when he gets back. Like I kind of, as like, we bleed into episode 3 here, I kind of thought I had forgotten that Xavier was essentially a fugitive when he left. Like everybody, like he is being framed as like the one who caused these big problems, and he's gone, but he's wanted. Like if he ever comes back, he is a felon. I forgot that we were at that point. Like I kind of thought he was going to be welcomed back with open arms. That's probably not going to be the case.
Mm-mm. And I mean, you bring it right into episode 3. I mean, we're back in the bunker, right? It starts with Sinatra's being returned. She's essentially back, and everybody in higher food chain, everybody high up, doesn't know what the hell to do without her. It's like all in turmoil. Oh, we're gonna use power here. Well, we can't use power here, but no, we're gonna do it. I said we're gonna do it because I'm the man in charge, and all that to me was the Napoleon complex. But I'm in charge, so I said we're gonna get the power. And then the guy that built the place, he's like, "Are you a freaking idiot?" He said a little bit more choice words, but I'm gonna say freaking on the pod here. Are you a freaking idiot? Well, you can't do that, you stupid bling bling bling. And I'm just like, oh, he went there. He's like, oh, so I'm going to jail now, right? All right, here, shackle me. And I thought that was beautifully executed because it really shows throughout that whole scene, they really don't know what to do without the woman that basically brought this all together, which is Sinatra, who was just shot by, is it Jane? Jane was just shot by Jane. So it takes us into, I mean, that whole scene right there. If you guys want to talk about that really quickly, Brian, I'll ask you, what are your thoughts about how that all orchestrated with episode 3?
Yeah, no, I thought like it. I know like Kyle Bradford last season was like kind of a puppet, but he was a likable guy. He believed he was in charge for the most part, but like Baines is just an idiot. Like I remember laughing last season in the finale when everyone's in chaos because of Sinatra getting shot, all the conspiracies about the bunker and everything, and then he like, yeah, listen to me, and I'm like, this is not the guy anyone should be listening to. And yeah, look at the first thing he wants to do. I want to bring back summer. I'm like, Jesus Christ, my guy. Like, are you stupid? We want to make it hotter? You want people like, I don't know. It just felt so dumb. And yeah, I'm glad that the kind of architect of this whole bunker like called him out for it, and like he didn't care because like at the end of the day, like who is this man to him anyway? So yeah, it's interesting to see like
classic politics where politician is an idiot, tries to do something to get some votes. Experts say, hey, this isn't a good idea. This is why you shouldn't do it. And he goes, I don't care. I want the votes.
Yeah. And
that's honestly, that's the problem with politics 8 years ago in the United States. That's we're way past that now, but like that's like the surface level problem with politics.
Yeah, we get straight from there. I mean, there's really a build up to that, but we get Sinatra's lie detector and like what she's hiding, like her test and what she's hiding. I think with that part for me, the whole build up on how we got there was mainly because of everything we just talked about. The way Barnes is acting as the president, and I use these in air quotes, but president of the United States. And you also find out, I think, in this as well, that the original president, his son is like damn near a revolutionary at this point. Like he's literally a freedom fighter. Like at this point, and he's just like kind of spying and seeing all the things that are happening. But then again, all of this is basically showing you things aren't right in the bunker. And so we get to the point where they need Sinatra to be brought in for a lie detector test. And who other than her partner, or should I say her therapist or psychiatrist, or however you want to say, but she gets I forget her name. Is it Dr.
Tarabi?
Tarabi. Okay.
Yeah.
She basically interrogates her with who was the other lady that was in the room? Because there was another lady in the room as well. Or was it just the guard?
I think Jane was in the room.
Was it Jane? Was it Jane?
Yeah.
And then Bane, and Sinatra's literally behind the mirror, like, you could talk to me, Baines. Like, I know it's you.
Yeah.
And that's really the scene that kind of brings everything we just talked about in the beginning of episode 3 to full circle. It shows you how little of a man he is in the face of, I feel like, who's really in charge, because he's nothing without Sinatra at this point, even though he thinks he is the biggest thing on campus. TJ, I know you got something for us.
Well, I was just going to say the lie detector I just found so fascinating because with one quick question, it completely reframes and recontextualizes how we think of Sinatra, because she has been through season 1 mostly an antagonist. Like, yes, she's trying to just get the job done. You know, at points she reminds me a little bit of reading Project Hail Mary, and there's this one character in Project Hail Mary who essentially gets the green light from the world to do whatever she wants to make sure the world gets saved.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of who Sinatra reminded me of at times. Mm-hmm. But then we see her wants, her needs, and her mistaken ideas of what is right get in the way and her do some really terrible things. But immediately in season 2, where we have this lie detector test and they're asking her, like, why are you diverting this? Like, are you diverting this power? Are you diverting this power? Are you diverting this power? Are you creating something? And the whole time she's dodging the question. She's not answering. She's dodging the question.
Yeah.
And then they ask it differently. Are you subverting this power? Are you creating something for your own personal gain? No.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
she says no. And it's the truth. And that to me is what I found so interesting, because it's like, wait. One, why would you fucking ask the question that way, you idiot? Ask a follow-up now. Ask a follow-up after you just got that information. Ask a follow-up. But from her standpoint, it was very interesting because it's like, oh, if it isn't, like, yes,
personal gain.
All villains think they're right, and they're not all, but many villains think they're right and are just in doing what they're doing
for the greater mankind,
for the greater good. But the fact that it's not for personal gain, that to me I find very interesting, because it is kind of placing Sinatra as like, oh, another protagonist for us to maybe get behind, because everybody else around her is so incompetent, and then there's people like Jane who are super shady. Maybe we're actually going to be rooting for Sinatra this season, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
And it goes like right from there, like straight into like kind of more backstory about Sinatra throughout the whole episode. We get flashbacks of her meeting Billy, and like actually us meeting Billy as a character, right? We get so much, like, I feel like with just Billy himself. I mean, that's a character that I did not expect to see again. So I wanted to ask you guys, TJ, I'll ask you really quickly, like, what did you think of Billy as being brought back and seeing him in a lot of these flashbacks?
Honestly, I thought I wasn't that taken by it. I wasn't that intrigued and invested until it's the end, and it's like, oh shit, Link is the kid. Link is the kid. And then that's when I was like, all right, I see why we're here. I see why we did this. What is his connection?
Ryan, is that the same thing? Is that how you felt? Or was a little? I was more excited. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, I love Billy. I love Billy. I was so sad they killed him off so early, but I was like, okay, I know this. I know the writer creator of this show. Like, you know, and This Is Us, they kill off Milo Ventimiglia's character very early on, and I'm like, that's Milo Ventimiglia, man. Like, that is, you can't get rid of a guy like that. But then they bring him back in flashbacks and keep him alive that way. I'm like, all right, cool, perfect. Like, you brought back Billy this way. I like it. I wish he didn't have this ugly ass haircut, but we move on, whatever. And even more interesting with his flashback, it's like this is now we're getting a little bit of some clues towards this Alex mystery. It's like the scientist that who is refusing to sell his technology to Sinatra, his wife's name is Alex. And it's like, okay, what did this man create? I can't even remember the like scientist thing he called it, but like it's like, okay, there's a connection here. This is Alex, whether that's another person, a software or whatever. It's like, okay, we're getting a little bit of an idea of what this Alex thing is. It's like, okay, I like that, you know, these flashbacks do have purpose. It does provide like character development for some people. For other episodes, sometimes it provides us clues into these bigger mysteries. I'm like, okay, I really enjoyed that. And I think this, going back to TJ's point of like the sci-fi nature of the show, I think it was jarring for me as well to like, okay, is this where the show is going? Like and I said this in my own social reaction to the show.
It was so quick and subtle too. He's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, you're gonna need this."
Yes.
And Billy's like, "What? Why? Why would I need this tissue?" And then right after, his nose starts bleeding, and he's like, "Oh, what? Where did this like?" He's telling him, he's like, he's gonna be like, our fates are intertwined and things like that. It's like, when did the show take this turn?
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is like, this reminded me a lot of Lost, where it, you know, you think you know what's happening, and then it goes very sci-fi. I think because this is like a very
Lost. I get what you mean.
Exactly. We got a plane crashing, everything goes on, like all that. But yeah, I think it is a little jarring, and I think it also comes in with the hallucinations and stuff like, or like these hallucinations with Xavier seeing Link, but for all we know, they've never met. So it's like, what is happening? And then with what the scientist is saying, it's like, do you think things happen for a reason? And I think this is like fate. Like if I believe you are meant to be here, and if you are meant to be here, then I have to die. Essentially, it's like, what is going on? With the show, I'm like, there's a lot going on, and then it's like, even that line at the bar where Billy gets surprised when the guy says like, no bars in your town. And if you go back to season 1, that's what Xavier said to Billy when they were in the underground, no bars in your town. It's like, so this past Billy is having memories of the future, or getting like reverse deja vu. And I'm like, what is going on? And that's what I like really like about the show. I'm like, okay,
you don't really know what's going on.
Exactly. And like, that's like with episode 1 of season 1, it's like, you thought this was going to be just a classic murder mystery, political thriller. And then it's like, no, dystopian, post-apocalyptic world. It's like, holy shit. Like,
we're in a dome.
Yeah,
we're in a dome. Like,
yeah, I was like, what the heck? And that was like the selling point for me to tell people, like, go watch this show, because you will not expect it. And I think this one it's not hitting as hard yet, because we don't have enough answers or enough clues as to what's going on. Like we some of these clues we could be picking up on could be like just nothing at all,
randomness.
So, but it's like, damn, yeah, go ahead.
I just think the reason being is because the way they were I don't want to say paced, but I think it's because it's 3 separate stories, and it's
3 introductions.
With
right?
3 introductions.
3 different introductions.
And we talked about this on my podcast, TJ, how when there's so many different narratives, side plots, subplots with Fallout, right? It kind of becomes like, all right, well, we just want this one thing, or we just want these 3 stories to somehow create the one story. But we're not there yet. We're in 3 separate stories that may or may not intertwine till later down the line. So we kind of have to like experience the journey itself. And you guys brought up all of the points that actually is listed. It's funny because you guys did it naturally. I didn't even have to bring these up. But like the teases of fate, or like the nosebleed stuff. So I want to talk about pretty much, which is like the closeout of the episode, and that's Jane killing Baines, man. What, like, I don't think I was expecting him to die that soon.
I'm happy he did. I'm not gonna lie, I was happy to see him go.
I was
Yeah.
too, but I thought he was gonna be like, that thorn in the side and throughout the show. It's like they're not the main antagonist, but they're like Loki. Loki's not the main antagonist, but he just keeps popping up at the most inconvenient times, like, and causing mayhem and mischief and problems.
And then he stabbed me.
And then he stabbed me or turned me into a frog or like. I thought that's what Baines was gonna be, so I was not surprised in that. TJ, you said, I'll let you go first. You said you were happy that he died.
Yeah, and so, like, interestingly enough, I find Jane is scary, but I honestly don't really feel like I need to know more about Jane. That's kind of where I'm at this point of, like, she is a scary, well-trained villain, but I don't really necessarily feel like I need backstory. But every time Baines talked, it just annoyed me. Maybe it was because he reminds me too much of real life politicians who are just so overconfident compared to how stupid they are. The confidence is way higher than the competence, right? And so he just reminded me of that. And so I was, as soon as he was gone, I was like, good one, Jane.
Yeah, no, I was like, I was rewatching the episode today, and I picked up on like the very subtle clues, because like we haven't talked about it, but like Sinatra is going with the story that, yeah, I don't remember Jane shooting me, and like I don't know if Jane is seeing through that, or like, they're both playing each other. But then, tying it back to Billy's flashback, when Billy, does the job and he tells Sinatra about it, he's like, if you ever need me again, just tell me someone needs a breath mint. During her interrogation scene, in Sinatra's interrogation scene, when Baines yells at her, she looks at Jane and she's like, that man needs a breath mint. And Jane instantly knows, and she does the job. Like, it's just like,
I didn't even pick that up.
Yeah. No, bro, like, rewatch it. Like, I love rewatching the show because there are little things like that. I'm just like, damn. And it's like, at the end of the day, because remember, we said, like, or what Jane said, you are no use to me alive. You are no use to me dead. So Sinatra is still, controlling her in some way. And I feel like Jane needs that kind of authority to guide her a certain way. Like, she is a loaded gun that needs to be pointed at something.
I'm with it. I agree.
Yeah. So I think, like, doing that oh yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, not to cut you off, I also feel like she is trying to just use Sinatra for a means to an end. But I agree. It's like in the middle of needing the authority, but because she wants it for herself, she just can't get there yet. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I say, like, I agree with the loaded gun analogy.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the thing too. Like, they both need each other in a way, but they're not gonna admit it. I think that's so interesting because they're just playing each other. It's like, okay, like, who's gonna outwit who and stuff like that. And I thought, like, when she did, I was like, God damn, this place lost a president so soon. And but the fact, what really shook me, it's like she pins it on Robinson. I'm like, God damn it, this girl can't catch a break. Like, and then she does the X on the bag just to be like, yeah, no, this is Xavier's people. It's like, God damn, Jane.
It was brilliant. I hated it, but it was brilliant.
I know.
It was brilliant.
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
She's so good at what she does, but damn it, like, you love to hate her, and I love that in a villain where you're like, you love how smart they are, and it just annoys you so much.
Gosh, it drove me freaking crazy. Well, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I believe that the president's son's name, the old president's son's name, was Jeremy, actually. And
Yes.
I want you, Brian, you could run us right through it. Talk about Jeremy's plans. Like, what is he doing, man? Like, because he's over here being, again, he's at this point, he's revolutionary. He gets locked up on purpose. He links back up with I don't remember the architect's name that built basically the whole dome, or built Paradise. But let's talk about it. What do you think he's planning? Where are we going from here?
Yeah, no, he tells the guy, like, yo, this place? Like, okay, can you basically blow the doors wide open? And I'm just like thinking, are we trying to let people out? Are we trying to let people in? Like,
A little bit of both.
That's
Yeah,
the
like
thing I think he's not thinking about, right? Is he's thinking, I want to let people should be able to see the outside world. I don't think he's thinking that's the aspect of it that he's like, he's a kid. He's got a good heart. He's fairly smart. But wait, you're gonna blow the doors wide open and anyone can just come in? What if everybody dies? Like it wasn't overly well thought through.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what Cal knows and what he told in that book that he left him behind, where it's like we one of the big reveals last season was that the outside world is livable. So it's like, is he just thinking small scale, like, okay, people can live out there if they choose. This is their free will to do that. But then I don't think they realize like it is livable. People must have survived. So like we should be concerned about like people who would want to come to paradise. And I don't know how much I can't remember like if they knew that like people could sneak in too. Like I mean, we had the guy who killed Cal last season. Like he snuck into this whole place. So it's like I don't know. I think he is a child at the end of the day. Like he is thinking kind of small scale. Like I'm just fighting for people's freedom and that's it. But yeah, it's very worrying that if this happens before, if they start this revolution before Link and his team show up,
Oh my goodness.
It's
or they cross paths, like that the whole revolution and Link and his team cross paths. See, I thought the fascinating thing to me was, is the world really livable? Because remember when Sinatra was talking with the original doctor, and he said it'll be livable for a while. He said we'll have peace and it'll be nice. The sun will shine again and it'll be air. But he said, but you got to realize the degrees of the whole world drop like 20 degrees. He said, then it's going to be on fire afterwards. Like it's going to be so hot that things will be on fire. So I that's my question, is like the big brain is going, is it really livable, or are they just at that peacetime that he was talking about, which will happen for a few years? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's a good point because like, I mean, he sounded crazy before, but he ended up being right. So I'm like, whatever this man says, like I will believe it. And like most recently today, the one of the writers of the show said like with where season 3 is going, there's no way there's gonna be a season 4. And I'm like, are they gonna kill the Earth? Are they gonna like destroy the world?
Yeah,
like,
is everybody gonna die? What do you mean by that, man?
That's not paradise, man.
And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, literally. I was like, is that kind of the story we're going with here? And I'm like, damn, like maybe they do. Maybe it's like a super Rogue One kind of ending where it's like, yeah, no, everyone dies, everyone you cared about dies, and it's like, shit, like maybe
Damn.
like I don't know, like is this like just a warning sign of like saving the world and everything like that, like protecting Earth and everything, like it could be like that's the whole thing too. I don't know, but very interesting stuff like from these first 3 episodes. And
very interesting.
Yeah, like you guys said, now that we have this kind of foundation, it's like, now where does episode 4 go? Like who do we pick up with? What we have people crossing paths like with Xavier and Annie. It's like, okay, where do we go from here?
We will find out next week on Dragon Ball. Now episode 4 is next Monday. We will be doing our breakdown every Tuesday at 7 p.m. But before we head out of here, Ryan, do you have any final thoughts about these 3 episodes that we broke down today?
Yeah, no, I'm glad they released all 3 in one drop because they're very different from one another. I think if you started with episode 1, a lot of people would feel a certain way about that just being the one episode you had and you have to wait a week for next episode. So these 3 episodes set the stage for something very interesting. We have a good amount of mystery there. I'm so excited to see the conversations as the week goes on, like what we're all thinking, because like episode 3 I feel like gave a lot in terms of the sci-fi nature of things and like where we're going from here. So I'm very excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think you brought up a good point, and it makes me think, would it have been better if this was dropped like a Wonder Man, just full out binge worthy? And that's the kind of the question nowadays with all TV, right? Is like, is it better just in a full release or a weekly release? Some things would work better than others, and I think Wonder Man was that indication, right? I almost feel like Paradise works better as a full drop. I watched the first season in full from once I started seeing you talk about it online, and so I don't know how that experience was week by week. So I'm glad, like you said, they dropped these 3 episodes. Um, for us to kind of like binge through in like 3 hours, because I don't know how I would have felt if this was going on weekly. So now I'm really hoping they grab me with that 4th episode to obviously want to be involved in the story throughout through its journey, because I'm already invested. I got full season and 3 episodes now in. That's,
Yeah,
but
I think they kind of hit the sweet spot pretty well with this release, just based on. I personally think like episode 1 could have stood on its own totally fine and go weekly from there. But I think after week 3, people would have started getting a little sick of like, okay, we just got 3 introductions. We're 3 weeks into this show and there's no plot movement yet. We're just still at the beginning setting it all up. And so I do think it was smart to like give the 3 introductions all at once, so that every week moving forward, even if you're spending time with different people, you're still unveiling more pieces of the mystery.
Yeah, and I think that's what I see a lot of like stuff that is coming out is starting to do. Like Invincible's going to be dropping, which we're going to have on the pod here as well. That's doing its first 3 episodes, and then it's going to be on a weekly format after that. So I think that's like the biggest thing now is that sweet spot, as you called it, TJ. But do you have any final thoughts of these 3 episodes that we broke down before we head out?
No, not really. Looking forward to breaking down the rest of this. Like you said, we'll be talking Invincible when this one drops as well, and then we'll be doing shows for Daredevil Born Again as well. Plus, we got the Comic Corner every Thursday, so we're gonna be busy. We're gonna have basically a show, at least 3 or 4 shows every single week going forward. So we got lots of fun stuff. Plus, some big interviews coming up. Talking to Janet Varney, aka Avatar Korra. Talking to Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio for Daredevil Born Again. So we got a lot of good stuff coming. So yeah, make sure people hit the like button on this one, but also subscribe. Stay a while, hang out, tell your friends. For everybody who tells a friend and they subscribe to the podcast, you get a crisp virtual high five from me.
Ooh.
And a good thumbs up from Jam.
Ooh.
Ryan, what did I get from you?
Yeah.
They get a nice good salute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ryan, where can the people find you on socials? Where can they find all your work? Let them know.
Yeah, I am at Ryan_Flex on Twitter and Threads. You can also find my work on the Agents Fandom site. Obviously, my Paradise spoiler-free reviews there for you to get like a sense of what's coming. You can also find me on Collider. I will have an article by the time, probably later this week, about the first episode of season 2, of how it's such a bold choice to kind of start the season like that. But I'll be talking about I'll be pitching Paradise every week because I just love this show so much. And last season, Sterling K. Brown told one of our writers that he loves reading Collider's stuff on Paradise. I'm like, Sterling K. Brown's reading some of our work. Goddamn, I will take that. Like I love the man so much, so I want to get his attention any way I can.
Heck yeah. Make sure to go check that stuff out. TJ, I already know where you want everybody to find you, but where can they find you at?
Yeah, TJ_Zwarych 5 is me on all the sites, but I don't really care if you follow me. Follow the Agents of Fandom at Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff dropping over the next few days.
Man, thank you guys both for coming here to talk about a show that we all love. For those watching, we will be doing this once again every Tuesday at 7 p.m. You can find me, Jam Session, on all socials. Just replace the E with an X in session. I am also going to have both Ryan and TJ. They're going to get tired of us. We're all going to be tired of each other at this point, because I will both have them on my podcast when this series is over, and that is Journey Across Media on YouTube exclusively. Make sure to tap in with us for more Agents of Fandom. You guys have a great night. Peace.